The Awakening. The vast expanse of stars watched in silence as the Galactic Confederation's flagship, the Astral Sovereign, glided through the void. Admiral Zillara stood on the bridge, her four arms crossed behind her back, eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. The ship's sensors had detected something unusual, an anomaly that had the entire crew on edge. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the tension crackling through the air. Commander Trellis, a Neuronian with silver skin that reflected the dim lights of the bridge, stepped forward. "The signals persist, Admiral. They're growing stronger with each passing cycle." "Origin. That's what concerns us," Trellis replied, manipulating the hologram to zoom in on a particular sector. "They're coming from the Forbidden Zone." The bridge fell silent. The Forbidden Zone, once known as the Sol System, had been quarantined for 40,000 years. Not since the Great Purge, when the ancient powers of the galaxy had deemed Earth too dangerous to exist, had any authorized vessel ventured into that cursed space. "Impossible," Zillara whispered. "Earth was destroyed. Nothing could have survived." Yet the evidence was undeniable. The signals, complex, encoded, and undoubtedly artificial, continued to pulse across space. They carried no discernible message, only a rhythm that seemed to beckon, to call out to anyone listening. The Council must be informed, Zillara decided. Set course for Nexus Prime. The Galactic Council chamber on Nexus Prime was a monument to the unity of 1,000 species. Representatives from every corner of the galaxy gathered in the vast amphitheater, their voices a cacophony of concern and speculation. High Chancellor Dorn, the oldest living Chronovian and head of the Council for over 3 centuries, raised his crystalline staff. The room fell silent. "We face an unprecedented situation," he announced, his voice amplified throughout the chamber. "For 40 millennia, we have believed the threat of Earth neutralized. Yet now signals emerge from the void where that world once existed." The holographic display in the center of the chamber showed the waveform of the signals, pulsing with an eerie regularity. "Our ancestors recorded that humanity was a species of contradictions," continued Dorn, "capable of both tremendous compassion and unimaginable destruction. They possessed a drive that the galaxy had never seen before or since. Their technological advancement in merely a few centuries outpaced what other species achieved in millennia." Murmurs rippled through the assembly. "That is why the decision was made," Dorn said, his voice lowering. "Earth was not merely destroyed. It was erased from existence. Its moon, its orbital installations, even the debris field that should have remained, all of it, gone. The very fabric of space-time was altered to ensure nothing of humanity would survive." Admiral Zillara stepped forward. "Then how do you explain these signals, Chancellor? They bear the unmistakable signature patterns of human quantum technology." "I cannot," Dorn admitted, "which is why the Council has authorized an expedition. We must know what remains of humanity, if anything at all." The expedition fleet departed Nexus Prime 3 cycles later. 12 of the most advanced vessels in the Confederation, led by the Astral Sovereign, equipped with the latest in defensive and scientific technology. Their mission: to enter the Forbidden Zone and locate the source of the signals. Admiral Zillara stood at the viewport of her private quarters, watching as the ships prepared for the synchronized jump to faster-than-light travel. She had been chosen to lead not only for her tactical brilliance, but for her specialization in ancient history, specifically human history. "Admiral," came Commander Trellis's voice through the communication system. "We're ready for the jump." Zillara took a deep breath. "Proceed." The stars stretched into lines, and the fleet vanished into the depths of space. The Forbidden Zone greeted them with eerie calm. Where there should have been debris, radiation, or some remnant of a destroyed world, there was nothing but empty space. The signals, however, were stronger here, emanating not from where Earth once orbited, but from farther out in the system, beyond where the gas giants had been. "We're detecting a structure," reported the science officer, a Valerian named Ixen, whose species was renowned for their analytical abilities. It appears artificial, approximately 3,000 kilometers in diameter. That's impossible, Zalura said, moving to the main view screen. Nothing that size could have remained undetected for so long. Yet there it was, a massive ring-shaped construct, rotating slowly against the backdrop of stars. Its surface was smooth, featureless except for occasional pulsing lights that matched the rhythm of the signals they had been tracking. "Hail it," Zalura ordered. No response came, but the signals changed, becoming more complex, more urgent. "They're aware of our presence," Trellis observed. Zalura studied the structure. "Prepare a scout vessel. I want a closer look." The scout vessel, piloted by Commander Trellis with Zalura and Ixen aboard, approached the ring cautiously. As they drew nearer, details became visible. The surface wasn't smooth after all, but covered in microscopic patterns, flowing and shifting like liquid metal. "It's active," Ixen said, scanning the structure. "These patterns, they're not decorative. They're computational." "What do you mean?" Zalura asked. "The entire structure is a computer," Ixen explained, awe in their voice. "A quantum computational matrix of unprecedented scale. It's processing something, or perhaps waiting." As if in response to Ixen's words, the patterns on the ring's surface flowed more rapidly, converging toward a point directly ahead of their vessel. The metal surface rippled and then opened, a doorway forming where none had existed before. "We're being invited in," Trellis said. Zalura hesitated only briefly. "Proceed, but maintain communications with the fleet. If anything happens." "Understood, Admiral." The scout vessel glided through the opening, which sealed behind them with liquid smoothness. Inside was a vast chamber, its walls lined with the same flowing patterns as the exterior. In the center floated a sphere of pure energy, pulsating with colors that shifted beyond the visible spectrum. As they watched, the sphere expanded, and within it appeared a figure, humanoid, but clearly not flesh and blood. Its form was composed of the same flowing patterns as the structure itself, continually shifting while maintaining a recognizable shape. "Greetings, children of the stars," the figure spoke, its voice resonating within their minds rather than through the air. "We have waited a long time for this reunion." Zalura stepped forward. "Who are you?" The figure's face, a suggestion of features rather than defined eyes or mouth, seemed to smile. "We are what remains of humanity, or perhaps more accurately, what humanity became." "Impossible," Zalura whispered. "Humanity was extinguished 40,000 years ago." "The Earth was not destroyed," the figure interrupted. "It was hidden, as were we." The chamber around them transformed, the walls becoming transparent to reveal countless stars, but not the stars they knew. These were arranged differently, as if, "We are no longer in your galaxy," the figure explained. "When the coalition of species came to destroy Earth, we were prepared. We had foreseen it. In the final moments, we did not fight back. We simply left." "Left," Trellis echoed. "An entire planet." "We had already begun our transformation by then," the figure continued. "From biological to digital, from matter to energy. Earth was our cradle, but we had outgrown it. The attack merely accelerated our plans." The scene around them shifted again, showing Earth, not destroyed, but enveloped in a strange energy field, then vanishing from space completely. "We transferred our consciousness into quantum matrices, stored the pattern of every living thing, every molecule of our world, and shifted it all between dimensions, to a place your species cannot yet comprehend." Zalura's mind reeled. "Then why return now? Why reveal yourselves after 40,000 years?" The figure's form rippled. "Because the time has come for humanity to rejoin the galactic community. Not as we were, fragile beings of flesh and blood, but as we are now. And we have much to share with our cosmic siblings." "Share?" Ixen asked. "Or reclaim?" The figure's smile widened. That depends entirely on how we are received. We come offering knowledge beyond your imagination, technologies that could transform your civilization. But we also come seeking acknowledgement, and perhaps accountability. The implications hung in the air between them. Humanity had not been destroyed. It had evolved, ascended, and now returned, with 40,000 years of advancement beyond what had already terrified the galaxy into attempting their extinction. The signals, Zalera realized. They weren't a distress call or a message. They were a warning. Not a warning, the figure corrected. An announcement. Humanity is coming home, and the galaxy will never be the same. The reckoning. News of humanity's return spread through the galaxy like wildfire. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session, with representatives from every major power attending either in person or via quantum projection. The chamber buzzed with tension and fear. Admiral Zalera stood before them, concluding her report on the encounter with the evolved human entity. They call themselves the Ascended, she explained. They exist as a collective consciousness, though they maintain individual identities. Their technological capabilities are beyond our comprehension. High Chancellor Dorn leaned forward. And their intentions? Unclear, Zalera admitted. They speak of sharing knowledge, of rejoining the galactic community. But there are undertones of reckoning, as there should be. The voice came from General Vex of the Dracarian Empire, his scaled skin flushing deep crimson with emotion. Our ancestors tried to wipe them out. Do you expect them to return with open arms? What I expect, Zalera countered, is for this council to approach the situation with caution rather than panic. The Ascended could have annihilated our expedition fleet with ease. They chose dialogue instead. The quantum overseer of the Myriad Collective, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline vessel, pulsed with deep blue light. What proof do we have that these entities are truly human? After 40,000 years of evolution beyond biological form, can they still claim that heritage? Before Zalera could respond, the chamber's lights flickered. The massive holographic display in the center of the room activated itself, and the familiar flowing patterns of the Ascended appeared, coalescing into the same humanoid figure Zalera had encountered. We can answer for ourselves, Overseer, the figure said, its voice resonating throughout the chamber. Pandemonium erupted. Security protocols activated automatically, energy shields flickering into existence around the council members. Weapons were drawn, aimed at a projection that could not be harmed. High Chancellor Dorn alone remained calm. You breach our most secure facility as if it were nothing, he observed. Is this how you demonstrate peaceful intentions? The figure inclined its head. We demonstrate our nature, Chancellor, just as your ancestors demonstrated theirs when they came to destroy our world. We could have appeared with warships and weapons. Instead, we offer only our presence and our words. What do you want? Dorn asked directly. Recognition, the figure replied. Acknowledgement of what was done to us, and a place in this galaxy that was once our home. General Vex snarled. And if we refuse? The figure turned toward him, its features shifting to mirror the Dracarian's own reptilian countenance before returning to its previous form. We are not asking permission, General. We are extending courtesy. Humanity will return to the physical realm of this galaxy. The only question is whether that return comes with alliance or opposition. You threaten us. The quantum overseer pulsed with angry red light. We state facts, the figure corrected. We have evolved beyond the limitations you still struggle with. We have mastered the fundamental forces of reality in ways your sciences have not yet dreamed of. We could take what we want. Instead, we come to you openly, honestly. Zalera stepped forward. Why now? After 40,000 years, why choose this moment to return? The figure's expression softened. Because we have been watching, learning, growing, and we have seen that despite the fears of your ancestors, the galaxy needs what we have become. There are threats approaching from beyond the galactic rim. Threats that none of your civilizations are prepared to face. Murmurs spread through the chamber. What threats? Dorn demanded. The figure waved a hand, and a holographic display transformed, showing images of massive entities moving through the void between galaxies. They defied easy description, part organic, part machine, part energy, consuming everything in their path. The Devourers, the figure said. They have consumed 3 galaxies already and now turn their attention to this one. They will arrive within 2 centuries. Silence fell over the council chamber as the implications sank in. You expect us to believe this, General Vex finally said, though his voice lacked its previous conviction. Verify it yourselves, the figure replied. Send your most advanced sensors to the coordinates we provide. You will detect their approach, though you lack the technology to truly comprehend their nature. High Chancellor Dorn studied the images carefully. And you can stop these Devourers. Alone? No. The figure's form rippled with what might have been sadness. Even we are not powerful enough for that. But together, humanity's transcendent understanding combined with the diverse perspectives and resources of the galactic community, we have a chance. Zellara nodded slowly, understanding dawning. This is why you've returned. Not for revenge, but for alliance. Precisely, Admiral. The figure turned to address the entire council. 40,000 years ago, your ancestors feared humanity's potential. They believed we would eventually overshadow all other species, dominate the galaxy through our relentless drive and rapid advancement. They were not entirely wrong. The figure expanded, its form filling the center of the chamber. But what they failed to understand was that humanity's greatest strength was never conquest. It was adaptation, innovation, cooperation in the face of existential threats. We don't wish to rule this galaxy. We wish to ensure it survives. 3 days later, a convoy of ships from every major power in the galaxy approached the massive ring structure where the Ascended waited. At their head was the Astral Sovereign, with Admiral Zellara commanding. They're activating something, Ixon reported from the science station. Energy readings off the charts. The ring began to rotate faster, its center filling with swirling energy that expanded outward, forming a stable portal nearly 1,000 kilometers in diameter. Through it, they could see another space, not the void of normal space, but something else, something between dimensions. And then, through this portal, came Earth. Not as it had been. A simple blue-green world circling an unremarkable star, but transformed. The planet now shimmered with the same flowing patterns as the Ascended themselves, its surface a tapestry of light and energy. Around it orbited countless structures, each the size of a small moon, connected by beams of pure energy. By the eternal void, whispered Trellis. What have they become? As Earth settled into position, where it had once orbited its sun 40,000 years ago, the portal closed behind it. The ring structure began to disassemble itself, its components flowing toward the transformed planet like metallic rivers through space. Throughout the galaxy, on every inhabited world, in every space station and vessel, communication systems activated simultaneously. The familiar figure of the Ascended appeared, addressing the entire galactic community at once. People of the galaxy, we are humanity. Once confined to a single world, we spread to the stars, only to face extinction at the hands of those who feared what we might become. We did not perish. We transcended. We have lived and grown in the spaces between dimensions, watching as you built your civilizations, fought your wars, made your discoveries. The figure's form expanded, becoming more complex, more beautiful. Now we return, not as conquerors, but as harbingers. A threat approaches that will consume all life in this galaxy unless we stand united against it. We offer our knowledge, our technology, our very essence as the first step toward that unity. Across countless worlds, beings of 1,000 different species watched in awe and trepidation. This is not a request or a demand, the figure continued. It is an invitation. Join us in transformation, not to become what we are, for each species must follow its own evolutionary path, but to reach beyond your current limitations, to prepare for the battle that will determine whether life in this galaxy endures or perishes. The transmission ended, leaving an expectant silence across the stars. On the bridge of the Astral Sovereign, Admiral Zalara turned to her crew. "Orders, Admiral," Trellis asked quietly. Zalara looked out at the transformed Earth, gleaming with power and possibility. "Open a channel," she said, "to the Ascended and to the Council. It's time we talked about the future, all of us, together." As the communication was established, Zalara reflected on the irony. The galaxy had once feared humanity would dominate through conquest. Instead, they might save it through cooperation. The Ascended had returned not for revenge, but for redemption, both their own, and perhaps for the galaxy that had once tried to destroy them. Humanity had not just survived. It had transcended, evolved beyond recognition. And in doing so, it had become the galaxy's last, best hope for survival. The echo of humanity, it seemed, would resonate through the cosmos for eons to come.